You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borg. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Thursday. There's only workshop tonight. 4th day of December 2020. Thanks for joining us. Wherever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. Do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. The first one is private. You got to be a member or on the free trial to get into the live training room. This broadcast is open to the public. Everybody, everywhere on planet Earth, internet-connected device. Now, if you haven't taken your 1-week free trial, when Michael joins us at the top of the hour, he'll walk you through step by step how to take the trial. Take about 3 minutes of your time to get signed up. Get your indicators indicating today. Your trial will officially start tomorrow, but it's going to run all the way through next week. Weekend does not count against you. And we'll throw in an extra day for free. There's no credit card required when you take the trial. In fact, when you take the trial, we treat you like you were already a member, a full bona fide passport holder for 5 consecutive trading days. Access to everything we do, 24 hours a day. We do work around the clock from Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern to Friday afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern. True story. And you're going to have access to everything, 5 consecutive trading days, no credit card required. I want you to be able to make a well-informed, intelligent decision of your trial as to whether or not trading is right. Stick around, top of the hour. Michael will walk you through the steps a couple of times. Okay. All right. Now, the live training room ends each day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Take a 30-minute break and then come back. This broadcast, the noon broadcast, which, as I said before, is open to the public. Now, there's 2 different ways to join this afternoon broadcast live. Best way, you only have to do it once. From mytradingiq.com, scroll down the page to where it says noon broadcast. Click the link, fill out the 30-second registration form, and you're done. Forward, what will happen, every trading day you'll get an email about an hour before this broadcast starts. In the email, there's a link. 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it automatically logs you into our platform. The benefit of doing it that way is you have access to the question box, so you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. 3 days, you're out of the office, away from your desktop, but you still want to join live. Some days you'll be busy, so you can't join live, but you want to catch up later. Both of those via our YouTube channel, which is easy to remember. youtube.com/CFRN. It's the Christian Financial Radio Network since 2005. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,900 daily episodes archived for your educational pleasure. And if you're new to our neck of the woods, it's a great way to get to know who we really are. Thanks to the power of YouTube, you can scroll back 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, even more. You can literally see how we've evolved over the years, day by day by day. Now, obviously, you're not going to watch them all, nor do you need to, but it's a terrific resource to have at your fingertips. Again, it allows you to see how we've evolved over the youtube.com/CFR. On the left side of the screen, you see our schedule for each afternoon broadcast. So we're going to dive right into our daily devotional. That's where we start each and every day. Just wrapped up a topic that we were on for 28 trading days. How to share your faith. Our new topic, which is only 7 days, anxious for nothing. Today's scripture is Philippians 4. I'll share it with you from the NIV version, starting with verse. Rejoice in the Lord always. I will say it again. Rejoice. Let your gentleness be evident to all. The Lord is near. Not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. Peace of God, which transcends all understanding, guard your hearts and your minds in Jesus. Again, that was Philippians 4:7. On the run. Does your life ever feel like that? Like you're just always on the run? Living with anxiety feels a lot like living on the run. Except you're running away from your own life. Panic settles in your chest as you try desperately to escape to a safe place that seems just out of reach. Worries swirl around in your head at a speed that makes it hard to breathe. Fears well up, causing indecision and self-doubt. Sound familiar? There's a constant pressure never to shut off your life. Emails never stop. Notifications pile up on your phone. And let's not forget the comparison trap that social media brings. So, how do we live with that? We know that as Jesus followers, we are called to live anxious for. Too often we feel weighed down by guilt because we think Christians aren't supposed to feel this way. What if we can stop running from something and start running to someone? Can. You can. I can. The promise that we can live anxious for nothing isn't based on what we produce, but on the presence of God. Just read the scripture. Be anxious about anything. Every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. On our own, we are hopeless in the fight against anxiety. But with God, we have access to His presence, which offers peace we can't even begin to understand. What's even better about that promise? It's a continual process. In every situation, every time we start feeling anxious, we can go to God. His peace. His peace is a byproduct of God's presence. Anxiety will not often disappear instantly. It's a moment by moment, continual process of seeking His presence. The next few days, share stories of everyday people battled with anxiety and what they've learned along. You are struggling with an anxiety disorder. It's important to seek the help you need. Think you have an anxiety disorder, see your doctor. Seeking help doesn't make you weak, it makes you wise. Suffer from anxiety. I don't want you to think I'm telling you just flush those pills down the toilet. No. I've been taking anxiety medication, and there's more Americans taking anxiety medication today than ever in history. Your body, it literally rewires your brain. So, I've been taking that stuff for a while. You can't just quit cold. So, get things straight with God, and then talk to your doctor about how you might get off of that medication. Because, fortunately, while the medications do often do what they claim to do, leave anxiety, can also be some side effects. So, talk more about that over the coming weeks. Right now, let's pray. Lord, help us to rejoice in you always, no matter what we face. Teach us to bring every worry, every need, and fill our hearts with thanksgiving. Let your peace, far beyond our understanding, guard our hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. Lord, keep us steady, keep us calm, confident in you. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. Said. Amen. Thought I forgot. I didn't. Let me give you the numbers from around the world. Start here in the U.S. with the cash markets or the MCs. Currently, the Dow is down 75 points. NASDAQ's up 39. S&P 500 is up 3.5. Russell 2000 is up 19 points. I say that like it's a big thing. It is, compared to where the others are. In fact, the Russell can, on occasion, help us determine the overall direction of the markets. We got so much turbulence. Government, everything that's happening in the world. But oil is up 83 cents. There's something else to worry about. Trading 59.78 last. That's a gain of 1.5%. Gold up $9.50. Trading 42.42 last. Silver, sorry to say, down $1.10. Trading 57.50 last. That's a drop of almost 1%. The Asian markets at the close. Nikkei gained 1,160, almost 2.5%. Shanghai dropped 2. The Hang Seng rose 175. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE up 18. The DAX up 108. CAC up So we had a mixed day in Asia. It's a green day. And at the moment, it's a mixed Radio Thursday in the US of A. And the Dow's in the red, 76 points, which really that's not a lot for the Dow. But my concern is the S&P is only positive by like 2.5 points. Now it's 2 points. But yet the Russell 2000 is up percent. This is really a mixed bag. So anyway, let's look at the news. It's probably a mixed bag as well. A Colombian family yesterday filed the first legal challenge against U.S. airstrikes on alleged drug smuggling boats in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific with an Inter-American human rights watchdog. It boggles my mind to see the left falling all over themselves, try to keep these drugs coming into the country. Mad that there was a choke point at the border, okay, coming up from Mexico. Yeah, that drug trade's been pretty much cut off. They didn't like that. Now that Trump has made it clear he's coming after these narco-terrorists, the left don't like that. Why is it that the left favors and protects illegal activity of all kinds, but won't stand up for American citizens who have a legal right to be here? Alejandro Medina, a 42-year-old fisherman, was among over 80 people killed in 21 confirmed airstrikes carried out by the Trump administration since September. His wife and 4 children insist he was on a fishing expedition and not carrying drugs when his boat was struck September 15th. Okay, maybe not everybody tells their wife they're a narco trafficker. Well, honey, I'm going to go fishing. That diamond tennis bracelet that you're wearing, Medina. How many tuna did he have to catch that? Now my heart goes out to his family who lost their father, whether he was just a fisherman or a narco-terrorist. Either way, a family's lost without a husband. That, I'm sad. But the intelligence we've had on this whole stuff's been pretty spot on. So it's true. So their complaint alleges that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth ordered the strike without knowing who was aboard, violating Carranza's right to due process and a fair trial. Hegseth is also facing scrutiny from the United States congressional left over a follow-up strike on another alleged drug boat days earlier that killed 2 survivors of the first strike. Separately, the Pentagon's internal watchdog determined Hegseth endangered U.S. troops earlier this year when he shared details about military operations in Yemen via a private signal chat. Now, I think I'm really going to stop reading this leftist slanted garbage to you every day. If you're interested in it, I think you're just going to have to go find it for yourself. I can't stomach it. Federal agents have begun immigration enforcement efforts in New Orleans, but I'm sure some judge in some other state is going to go, I don't think so. And it's going to all grind to a halt. But at least they're trying. Federal agents are also in 2 Minnesota cities, Minneapolis and St. Paul. Crackdown follows similar endeavors in Los Angeles, Chicago, Charlotte, and Memphis. Federal officials specifically named 10 people in Louisiana for arrest and deportation. Men from Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, Mexico, Georgia, Vietnam, who had been arrested for crimes including child endangerment, robbery, and domestic abuse. The Department of Homeland Security says the men had been inappropriately released from custody due to New Orleans' sanctuary city laws. Federal agents are separately targeting unauthorized Somali immigrants in Minnesota. The crackdown comes after President Trump used derogatory language to refer to Somalis and Somali-born Rep. Ilhan Omar. He called her garbage, okay? That's what he said. And these Somali criminals have stolen $1 billion of taxpayer money and funneled it to terrorists in Somalia. I think garbage is a compliment. The top of the garbage heap is Tampon Tim. This guy, what a piece of work. Malaysia announced yesterday that a search for Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 will resume this month, in a decade after the jet's disappearance, and months after the effort was postponed due to the government has pledged $70 million to the U.S. robotics company Infinity if it can produce the wreckage. On March 8th of 2014, the Beijing-bound Boeing 777 stopped transmitting location data 39 minutes after taking off Kuala Lumpur. Exiting Malaysian airspace, the plane veered off course. Satellite data indicating the aircraft continued flying for hours. Multiple international search efforts failed to reveal the jet's location. The plane is believed to have crashed somewhere in the Indian Ocean, killing this company that's being hired, and they only get paid if they find it. Ocean Infinity says its technology has improved since a previous search failed in 2018. Beginning December 30th, the company will scour a 5,800 square mile site in the Indian Ocean in 5 days. Cost a pretty. See if they don't find anything. Meta is reportedly set to make major cuts to its metaverse efforts as the company continues to push deeper into the AI space. Mark Zuckerberg is looking to reduce the budget for the metaverse unit by as much as 30%, according to Meta stock popped more than 10% on the news. The company had no comment. US stocks wobbled today as Wall Street digested fresh jobs data. Traders increasingly baking in expectations that the Federal Reserve will deliver a December rate. The Street is under growing conviction. The Fed will shift, easing at its policy meeting next week. This is next Wednesday. We're going to have the FOMC, so get ready. Wall Street is 89% probability. Another quarter point. We need a 2 point. Now the U.S. jobs market received a fresh set of mixed signals today. Claims for unemployment insurance dropping to a 3 low. but employer layoff plans flashing another warning sign. Employers announced 71,321 layoffs last month, according to a report from the global outplacement firm Challenger. Christmas cuts were up 24% from the nearly 8,000 planned layoffs announced in November and amounted to the highest total for the month since 2022. Data comes on the heels of last month's Challenger, Gray, and Christmas report, which detailed worst October for layoff plans since 2003. Amid a rash of cuts from major employees like Amazon, challenging the narrative that the labor market was stuck in a state of low hiring and low firing. Layoff announcements in October were at back. NVIDIA is the global AI chip leader. Word that Google could sell some of its own AI chips to Meta has raised concerns that one of its biggest clients is becoming a major threat. According to a November 24 report by Information, Google's deal with Meta could be worth dollars. That sent NVIDIA's stock price down 2.5% the day after the report. NVIDIA also released a statement on X saying that it was happy for Google's success, that NVIDIA's own chips are a generation ahead of the chips. Reuters. Amazon's investments in new fulfillment centers, delivery stations, gradually cemented the online giant's position as a key player in nearly $193 billion U.S. parcel industry, dominated by UPS, FedEx, and the U.S. Postal Service. The company said today it was in discussions with the U.S. Postal Service about the relationship and was considering its options before the current contract expires next year. Here's what's going to happen. And those of you that have been around know I've been saying for years, the day is coming. Bank at Amazon, you'll get your gas at Amazon, you'll go to the doctor at Amazon, get your prescription filled at Amazon, you'll get your groceries from Amazon. A lot of that is already going to pass. Pretty soon you're going to be getting your mail from Amazon. The United States Postal Service is inefficient and loses billions of dollars every year. Well, just increase the cost of postage. Yeah, apparently that's not the solution, or they'd have already done it. See, not a lot of letters get compared to when I was a kid growing up. There was so much mail, the mailman came twice every day. Morning, and then he'd come again in the afternoon. Because that's how people communicated with each other. Not anymore. It's all about text messages, email, chat rooms, whatever. So here's my point. I think Amazon is going to take over the United States Postal Service. Now, they could just go out and create their own fleet, or they could privatize this government conglomerate mess. I think that's the direction they're going to go. I think you're going to hear Trump start talking about that. Privatization, States Postal Service. I mean, my goodness, Amazon is so efficient at delivering these packages. Why can't they do the same for a letter? I'm sure I told you the story the other day. My wife's birthday, I realized I got her a birthday gift, but I didn't get her a birthday card. Now, it was actually, I think, Walmart, not Amazon, that I went on. I went on Walmart.com. I ordered a birthday card for 85 cents. It's on my doorstep about an hour. They told me it would take 3 hours, and I laughed. I'm like, yeah, right. It's on my doorstep within an hour. Trucks, red, white. This should get your blood boiling. A band of House Republicans joined several Democrats today to support a compromise plan to renew expiring health care subsidies amid fears from some swing district GOP lawmakers and impending spike in insurance premiums trigger a public backlash. The proposal faces an uphill climb as Republican congressional leaders dig in on opposition to renewing tax credits set to expire December 31st. 20 million Americans covered by Obamacare insurance policies on average will see their premiums more than double as a result. Well, Obamacare was faulty to start. For Obamacare, my wife and I had health insurance for $800 a month. That's a lot, but we were thankful to have it. Then comes Obamacare. My doctor quit doctoring and became a research guy up in Alaska, medical research. And my insurance premiums went from $800 to $3,000 a month. Not joking. I'm still upset. Anyway, my point is here. This is, Democrats are all divided and they have no policies. So, as Republicans, why not? Let's, that's the word of the day: division. Without a united front and without some real policies and some real results, these midterms are going to follow the historical pattern. It's like the last time Trump was president. Come the midterms, there goes our edge. Now, let's face it, Trump was left with quite a mess after 4 years of Joe Biden. He spent most of this year trying to clean up that mess, get us back to break even, and then next year things should start to look pretty. That's how it plays out. Health and Human Services has taken action against a school that illegally vaccinated a child, demonstrating that the agency will not tolerate information on a child's gender transition being. HHS opened an investigation yesterday into a Midwestern school that vaccinated a child without parental consent. They're not your children. I've had enough. Logic 247. We are 24/7 around the clock E-mini alert service. Not just E-minis, but also crude and silver. Currently in week 383. Over the last 183 weeks, we've issued over 21,100 handcrafted alerts. Averaged on a daily basis, 20% or less stopped down based on simple market structure and a simple process we teach all of our passport holders. Valerie did the recap this morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. I have issued a few since then. She'll update it this afternoon, posted places. But at the time she did the recap this morning, this is where we stood. Since the markets opened Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, issued a total of 5 logic alerts. Don't CTAs. Animal. Time of the recap, we were still waiting on the outcome of 7. I'm sure some of those have resolved themselves one way. So, 28 actionable alerts, 4%, then stopped out, based on structure, and the simple process we teach all of our passport holders. Every logic alert has an entry price, long or short, initial target, additional targets, and then a final trade to target. The purpose of the logic alerts is to teach you how to read a chart. Until you learn how to read a chart, chances of you becoming a consistently profitable trader are pretty slim. Just because you learn how to read a chart doesn't guarantee you that you're going to be a successful trader. If you want to be a successful trader, you better learn how to read the chart. Now, yeah, you can trade the logic alert, but if you never trade a logic alert, at least use them to learn how to read the chart. You got to know where to anticipate potential resistance and potential support. Otherwise, you're just flying blind. And it's really not that hard. In fact, use every logic alert that's published. Drag up the 30-minute chart. Look at the alert. Horizontal lines on the chart. Pretty soon, you'll understand reading a chart and you won't need logic alert. Because you'll see exactly what I see. See, whatever. All right. So, it's up to you. Remember, the information's available to you. How you use it, it's up to you. Now, 383 weeks, that's a little over 7 years. Long time in the trade. Years before 7, we had our original alert service, the concierge traders. Yeah, they're different in a lot of different ways. For the purpose of this discussion, I'll simply say they don't come out around the clock. Published as a static report 5 minutes ahead of the Globex Open. Thursday session we're in right now began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. All of our traders had all of these targets 5 minutes before the S&P, the Dow, the Russell, crude oil, the NQ, and so as we go through the individual charts, see these targets drawn on. Just remember, our traders had the information 5 minutes. So, charts. Shall we go? S&P 500 E-mini future chart. Okay. Now, yesterday I said this was a potential spot for resistance right there, top of that body. I said above that would be the wick. That would be that wick. Then above that would be turned around. Now, price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green. Call it the BBC. Just stands for bull bear cross. Price crosses above the green line, we're bullish. When it crosses below, bearish. Pretty simple. But see how price always reverts to the mean. Leg retracement, leg retracement, retracement, retracement. Also notice that the pullback holds more often. In fact, every pullback from April of this year, chart. Now, this was a 6-day pullback that held. Every candle is touching the green line, so that means it's as long as it held. And went on to give us new all-time historic intraday highs and historic closing highs. Then got a bearish signal, big picture. And it was head fake. Got another one. That one held. Now we're back above the BBC. This is not your fault. Notice that the black step line starting to right. Now on the way up, you see how the black step line and blue and climb, you see how they're running. Step line crosses blue and climbing. That's a signal that price is going to retrace and traces back to the daily BBC, which is currently aligned with the 50% extension. Maybe we make it through the end of the year without a major correction. Do look out in January. One's a coming. This and this is just a taste. We're going to see numbers down in this area. Now that's obviously my opinion. Title to your opinion. Today we got a doji that represents indecision, and we're on the verge of get 1 or 2 more days of sideways consolidation. The step line is going to cross blue and climbing, and that's up here. See, step line cross blue and climbing after this big run up. It's the step line crossed right side of blue and climbing. It's just how it works. Back here. Step line cross, blue and climb. Now the same is true when the black step line crosses red and falling. Expect to pull back to the BBC, which we got, but pullback holds more often than it doesn't. Eventually, it's going to trade like it did here and like it did here. So look at this: leg retracement, leg retracement, leg retracement, leg retracement, leg retracement, leg. Now, question: is this simply a deeper than normal pullback, or is this the beginning of a bear market? What if we look at it this way? Leg retracement, leg retracement. And that means this pullback to the BBC might not hold. But coming up on Christmas and the Santa Claus rally, and, well, not every December have we seen Santa Claus rallies of history. We've seen it more often than not. So, you know where to anticipate resistance because I just showed you this yesterday. There. Happened. All odds. Okay, all of the logic alerts and the concierge trade alerts are. This is magical. It's just the time frame I chose you years ago, and they say if it's not broke, so I have.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
This was the open last night. Just pulled back to the VC. The pullback held. And up to the weekly trading zone. That pullback that held. Resistance at the weekly. Back that held. Resistance at the back that held. And a move that went right up through CTA long. Made it up to 68.80 3/4. 68.82. Weekly trading zones are published every Monday morning, 6:15 Eastern. Once they're published, they're carved in stone for the entire week, change in any way whatsoever. Vertical lines separate the day. Tuesday. See, as price came down to the zone, support. Now at higher levels, support, resistance. See, right here, resistance. Made that run up and collapsed. This was 9 o'clock candle. At 9 to 9:30 period has become quite active the last few days. Then the 9:30 open candle, which is typically the largest candle of the day. Bottom fell out. Short target. Bounced back up to the zone. All overnight. Resistance. Popped up almost to the next zone. And now we're back to battling this zone. Market that seems to want to go higher, but struggling. Certainly higher. This is Thursday, Tuesday. Climbed considerably to the week. Now, we had a gap lower open last night. Price found support at the weekly trading zone. C came in. Spiked up, hit the line. Back down to the price drops to a zone, we expect support. This rallies up to a zone, expect resistance until proved. These are the zones that were published Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Job. About to run into the BBC. Pull back hold. Last one did. Doesn't guarantee that this one will. Got to be patient. Let the market prove itself. Price prove itself. area down. Pullback does hold. It's a nice opportunity short. If the pullback doesn't hold, it's a lovely place. So when you learn to look at the market in this manner, you don't have to fester over, is the market going to go up or is it going to go down? If it goes up, there's your trade. Down, there's your trade. Listen to a podcast, sandwich. Russell. I said the Russell was one index on fire. There's the open last night. Yesterday we found support at this zone. Found resistance at this zone. Finally made it through and resistance at this zone. Got above it and pull back. Support times 2. Back to the VBC and the zone. Held and it held. Had one candle open and close without touching the green. It's a head fake. Right after that, red and falling turned to blue and climbing. It's all the way up the zone. Still got one more. 2. See what happens. On the NQ. Support at the zone. Support. Support, support. Anyway, we open back to the VBC. Drop to the zone. Support. Sends us looking for resistance, which we found at the. Send us back to the VBC. And we put in a slightly higher high. I can't go. High today. Five 732. Seven 2. Cross. We have a bearish cross that leads to an extended move. Each time price revisits that area, it's always resistance. I'll often ask, how far left do I have to? So right now we're sitting straddled. We've hit the long target price. Now we're just consolidating. Only one of 3 things happens when price encounters a weekly trading zone. 70% of the times consolidation, 20% of the times rejection, 10% of the times the slice. Slices through a zone, not even there. That happens and the move runs out of steam, price will typically trace to the zone it sliced through, continue in the direction slice. Oil. We opened last night. Red and falling directly below price. When that happens, when red and falling gets directly below price, it becomes partial support. It's usually on its way to become climbing. Now, when you got blue and climbing chasing price, remember the pullback holds more often than it doesn't. Held and it held and it held. But eventually it's going to trade through. You got blue and climbing chasing price like this. Even though we consolidated at the zone for an hour and a half, broke through, leg retracement. You see, we came right back to the BC right there, back hill. That sent us right up to the target. Tick, I think. Yep, to the tick. Now, that long target was based off this high from yesterday. Resistance will send the market looking for support at the zone 890/95, just as it did yesterday. Same. That support sent us looking for resistance, and we ran all the way up zone at 59.95/60 bucks. Still got one more zone overhead. See, Monday we hit that zone. Resistance, support, resistance. And looks like we got to pull back to the BBC coming. Step line has gotten directly above blue candle. Same sideways consolidation. It's going to take it to the right side of blue and should expect price to come right. See. Gold opened right here last night. Ran up to the BBC and the zone. Resistance times 2. Sent us down to the short target by the market found support right here. Now, I would have anticipated support right here. But support came in right between the two. That's the truth about trading. That's why 21,100 plus alerts issued over the last 7+ years have 100% profitable ratio. That's not reality. It doesn't exist. It can't exist. But what we have averaged 7 years is 20% or less being stopped out. Based on simple market structure, simple process we teach export holders. Now, we didn't quite make the long target there. We got up to 2 points. Pick up right here. I come back. Michael's here. He's going to give us a recap of what happened in this morning and do a little live trading as time permits. I'll come back, finish the recap I was on, and wrap things up with
All right. All right. I believe.
You ever track down your helicopter sound?
No, I did not. I got distracted. I had
Ask
things that I didn't.
Ask ChatGPT. It sent me so much stuff about all the steps to take. I thought about copying and pasting it. I figure it's easier for you to just ask yourself.
Okay.
It's obviously, and I said specifically using GoToWebinar representers as sort of a and it was like it was very familiar with that problem. It just quickly spit out a long checklist of stuff to go. So anyway.
All right.
Your charts look good.
Well, I will give it a shot in a little while.
Yeah, but and again, and I wouldn't worry about it too much because it's just it's not an issue. Yes, people can hear it, but it's not. It doesn't power your voice or just get used to it. I don't even notice it anymore. So anyway.
All right. Good.
All right.
Here we go. All right, good afternoon, everyone. Today is Thursday, the 4th day of December 2025. Now, if you have not taken a free trial with us and you'd like to take a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button, right? There is no credit card required for this trial. Now, when you click on that, it will bring you to this page right here, which is going to be replaced tomorrow with more stuff. We'll have a different password next week. But on this page, all we ask for is your name, your email, your phone number down here at the very bottom. Give us your TradingView login ID, all right? If you don't have one of those, click on the link down there and go and get one of those. And click on this link right here and go and get one. Watch this video to get your TradingView. John B, are you in here right now? John B is not in here right now. Okay, he needs to watch this video. Watch that video to go get your TradingView login ID. Okay, once you have that, supply it to us and we'll get everything indicating for you on your desktop. All right, so we had a pretty slow day today compared to all the other ones in the last, well since the 24th. What day was the 24th? I can't tell on that calendar, but if I go here, the 24th was last Wednesday, so it's our slowest day in a week. But it ended up working out okay. We ended up with $627.50 per contract this morning. Now, I remember a day when if you made $500 per contract, it was a big deal. If you made $100 per contract, that was all you needed. And it wasn't that easy to do. Now it's pretty easy to do, and $500 per contract seems like the norm. I mean, I could change my daily goal to be 500 probably. But anyway, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you could read all the CFTC risk disclosures down the bottom. I don't know if I said that already, but I have to say it every time I talk about this. On the NQ, we're up 47 ticks. On the YM, 35 ticks. On the gold, minus 12 ticks. And on the ES, 27 ticks. That is with one contract on all those. Okay. So on the month now, we're up 627 on the month. On today, the morning session, we're up $627. I'm sorry, I'm getting all these text messages. Jake just closed his house, so he just officially bought his first house. We're up 627.50. So today it took 7 minutes and 2 trades to get to the goal for the day. That we're up $1,050 with 10 contracts on, which is a total of 58 trades this morning. We had 7 stop outs out of those 58 trades, and that puts us at 87% for break even or better. We had a lot of really small trades today. I mean, on the NQ particularly, we had one stop out on the NQ, I think, maybe. Yeah, we had 1 stop out on the NQ out of 18 trades, and we were only up 47 ticks. So we had a lot of 1-tick trades. We didn't have any full target trades on the NQ today. Anyway, on the month, we're at $4,852 over 4 business days, averaging $1,213 per morning session. On the year, $258,310 over 208 business days, averaging $1,241 per morning session. Following the 24/20 blueprint, so far this year, we're still under 29 hours, but we're just about at 29 hours on the year, getting the goal for the day. And I want to be under 40 by the end of the year. I'm pretty sure that that is going to be easy to do. In those 28.95 hours, if you did everything exactly like I did and added 1 contract per month, you'd be at 12 contracts now and you'd be up $208,569, averaging $7,204 per hour. Okay. Now, I have been told, I mean, I know there's something wrong with this column right here. I'm hoping that all these other columns are accurate. Okay. But $7,204 per hour is based upon the number of minutes traded, which I'm sure is correct. The total amount over here, which I'm hoping is correct, that amount divided by that amount gives you that amount on the year. Okay. And that's all of that. All right, so let's get into the trades. We'll start out here. We had most of the trades are on the YM and the NQ. So we'll just start out with gold and work our way across like we normally do. Okay. On the gold, if we hit control and back. here, controlling back, and here we are. Our first trade in here on the gold, we picked up 10 ticks, and that was as high as we got on the gold right there. That was as high as we got. We got 10 ticks there, and we stopped out there, went to -5, stopped out there, went to -20. Got a break even there, got 10 ticks back there, we're at -10, break even there. Then we stopped out again, -25 total. Got 1 tick to 19, and got 5 ticks to -14, and 2 ticks to -12. And that was where we ended it on the gold today. All right, so I'm looking for trades. There weren't very many. There was one valid trade right here during the break. And that was it. One short trade during the break on gold. Okay. The markets just didn't have a whole lot of follow through today. YM, we were back and forth a little bit on the YM. We did end at the high of the day on the YM. We ended, gold was the only one we didn't end at the high of the day on. On YM, we ended at the high of the day, but we only had 35 ticks. So 35 ticks was the high of the day on the YM. Let me scroll all the way back here. Here we are, all the way back here. All right, so our first trade of the day on the YM was right here. We picked up 11 ticks on the first trade, 1 tick on the second to go to 12, then 10 ticks on the third to go to 22, 1 tick on the fourth to go to 23. Then we went from 23 to 33, and then we stopped out down to 18. And from 18 to 20, and then we stopped out again down to 5. That's what I was talking about, the back and forth. We're down to 5 at that point. And then we got 6 ticks to 11, and a series of positive trades. We went from 11 to 16 to 18 to 16 to 18 to 19 to 20 to 23 to 29 to 35. And that is where we ended it right there with that one. During the break, there was a really nice trade right there. A really nice trade right there. 2 of them right there right in a row. That was a trade there. Would have worked out okay. And scrolling all the way over here. It was a long trade right there. That was a really nice trade right there. This was another one right here that was okay. So that and that were both good positive trades. And that was it. So some really nice trades during the break on the YM. All right. Now the ES, which had our number completely yesterday, did not get our number today. Went away. No number today. All right. On the ES, our very first trade here was +4. Then we had 1 more to get us to +5. 2 more to get us to +7, 4 more to get us to 11, 10 more to get us to 21, 2 more to get us to 23, 1 more to get us to 24, then we stopped out, down to 14, 1 more to get us to 15, then I'm pretty sure something there was positive, but I didn't write it down right. And then 3 to get us to 18. I'm sure there was something, we were probably higher than 18 right there. But then from 18 went to 19, and 19 went to 27. And that is where it was right there. I skipped that one. I wrote down the wrong number. I just wrote down a copy of the number before. It could have been a break even, but I don't really copy the numbers like that when it's a break even. Anyway, during the break, this was a short trade right here that would have stopped out. And that was it. 1 trade during the break that would have stopped out. Okay, and that was it on the ES today. Now the NQ had a bunch of trades, a bunch of really small aggravating trades this morning. Okay, we'll go back to the beginning. I mean, there were wins, so I'll take the wins, but you know, I have the auto break even +1, and I got a whole bunch of +1s this morning. And I was saying, as I got it with all these +1s, it's going to take 1 stop out to wipe them all out. And that's pretty much what happened. All right, so our very first trade here was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then finally, I got something a little more significant, right? It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then after I got to 6, I got 12 ticks and went up to 18. Then I went from 18 to 25. Then I went from 25 to 29. All right, sorry, I went from 18 to 20 to 21 to 25 to 29 to 33 to 34 and 34 to something. And where's our stop out? Here it is. We had a couple in there that I didn't write down. Then we stopped out and we went from 34 down to 9. And from 9, we had a pretty good trade. After a little while, we had a pretty good trade right there. We went to 29. And we had 1, went to 30. Then we went to 31. And finally here, we had a big end to the day, went to 47. That was where we ended for the NQ, and that was the high of the day for us on the NQ. But you see, there was a lot of periods of chop like this, right in here, right in here. Now, typically we don't need to put trade setups in there. You can see the background color faded in here. If we do that and go back, it looks like there was no trade there. This was actually a valid trade here. It went enough to get to break even though. Spun around, gave a long trade right here. That would have pulled back really far, but it eventually worked out. Nothing through there. This would have been a valid trade right there. All the way over to here. This would have been a good trade. This would have been a good trade. That one would have been okay. This one right here would have been good. So if you were fast enough to get in there and get those trades, there were some decent trades. This one here would have been probably a stop out to the tick before it went down and did what it should have done. It got all choppy through here. So this right here, this would have been trade that would have stopped you up to the tick again. Through here, that wasn't anything through there. Right there. Not there, not there, not there, not there. And not there. And that was it on the NQ. That was it on the NQ. We ended up with plus 47 on the NQ, whopping 47 ticks. All right, so for anybody coming in right now, if you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com. Click on this right here. All right, when you click on that, it will bring you to the registration page. Just fill it out. All right, once you fill out that registration page, you'll be sent everything that you need to get into the room in the morning. Make sure when you fill it out, you give us a TradingView login ID down here at the bottom. If you don't have one, click on this link, go watch the video, and get one. The Essential will work just fine. You get 2 charts at once. The sale that they had ended. They'll probably be doing it again at the end of the year. So if you missed it this time, you probably get it again next month. Okay? Okay. All right. So we are just about to flip the YBR there, and there, and there, and we are flipping it here. So that's where we are right now, getting ready to take long trades. Okay. And Q just flipped it. It hasn't painted yet on the YM, but the YM just flipped it. The gold, we'll have it flipped once it closes that bar. Whether it closes up or down on the gold, it doesn't matter. It's hit the YBR. Oh, I guess it didn't hit it. It didn't hit it. Right? If I blow this up, be 1 tick away from the YBR. It just has to touch the YBR. It doesn't matter whether it closes up or down. Like this one on the S, I know hit it. So if it doesn't matter whether it closes up or down, it's going to flip the color. Okay, it's just going to exceed the YBR like that. Now over here on golds, if you look at the numbers over here in the data window, the YBR, the high of this bar was at 45.7, and the YBR was at 45.8. Just barely see it right there. It was at 45.8, so we missed it by one little tiny tick. That's 45.8 on that one. If I made the YBR a different color, you'd be able to see the color in there a little better. But anyway, here we need to pull back in midpoint, midpoint, midpoint. Then we need to flip the YBR on the gold. Oh, yeah, you did. I thought I was still talking to you, but maybe I shut it off by accident. Sorry about that. I don't know when I shut it off. I was talking. Good. All right. Well, we should flip the YBR right here. We should have flipped the YBR. We're looking for long trades here on these three right now. Okay. Should be getting long trades on those three right now. So, here for a minute. Partners meeting tonight, don't forget. If you have any questions, you can send them in ahead of time. I am being told we're supposed to get some snow here. I think it's going to happen over the weekend, though. So hopefully, once that Monday rolls around.
How unusual is that for your?
It happens about once a year. Once a year. When it does, the town shuts down completely for like a week. They're not used to snow here. They don't know what to do with it.
And when I was a kid growing up in Georgia, we might get a light dusting once or twice a year.
But you know what it's like. You lived in Connecticut for a little while, so you know.
Oh yeah, I was in Connecticut, and what they at the time said was the worst storm. And
yeah, probably 76, something like that. 70.
It was 70.
78,
78,
79.
79,
Right
yeah.
there, I think, yeah. Okay, well, we got the up close here on the NQ, so that trade is triggered. Now we're waiting for it to do something. It hasn't done anything yet. It hasn't gone enough to, there, now it's gone enough to bump the stop to plus a tick. We'll lock in 1 point on that. We'll lock in at 175. I'll lock in 16 ticks on that. Okay, and we didn't actually get trades on these other ones. It didn't come off the midpoint on that one or that one. It's pretty close. 20 ticks on this. Yeah, that is a good trade for today. Getting 20 ticks on the NQ. Let's put it in here. Today. 4. 20. Number of trades. 1. Okay. 0. All right. That is a fine start to today's stuff. On the gold, we just need a down close. That's good high here, 44.8, sell 43.8 on that. Okay, if it goes up any more, we won't have a trade that's going to flip the YBR. Right, now you see this one, it didn't hit the midpoint there. I would have gone long on that. Same thing with this. It didn't hit the midpoint, or I would have gone long on that. It was off by a tick, both of them. Right, the gold just closed down and triggered. Okay, so gold is short from right here. That needs to go 5 ticks in profit for the stop to break even. So it's going to go down here to 43.3. One more tick and it'll go to break even automatically. There it is. Lock in 1 tick on that. There's not a lot of follow through today, so I'm taking profit where I can. All right, I know I'm being really aggressive with my stops, but there's just not been a lot of follow through. It's been coming in spurts too, so I could put like a 10 tick target on this right here. It just took me out with a couple of ticks. Okay, well, that's how the day's been. Okay, gold. I just put this all the way down. And yesterday we make to go. All right, I'm back in here. We have not gone full cycle here. We've gone from oversold to overbought. We need to get back into the oversold now. Now the ES has not put in a higher swing like the YM. As you see, the YM continued the trend. The ES has not continued the trend, and neither has the NQ at this point. Oh, again, I was just saying, we're flipping the YBR now on the gold, and this time we are flipping it. And I was saying the last time when my microphone was off, what I was trying to tell you is I could change the color of the YBR so you could actually see the value of it over here, 244.8. And so the high of this bar, well, the high of this bar is above the YBR. All right, before when I thought it was going to flip it, it was right here. And the YBR on that bar right there was, nope, I'm sorry, it wasn't that one. It was this one back here, I think. Yeah, it was 245.8 was YBR there, and the high was 245.7, so we had missed it by a tick on that one. But we got it this time, so you can see the value over here when I make it blue. I put it back to yellow, so it is yellow brick road, not the blue brick road. Oops. All right. So we're waiting for more trades. Time's at 1:25. So we have about 4.5 minutes left. And right now, the 2 trades that we've gotten, we're up $1,200 with 10 contracts on, or $120 with 1 contract. So enough to get the goal for the day today. So far in this session. And those of you guys that are watching in the session right now, if you come to the session every day, then usually in this session, in the 10 or 15 minutes that I have to trade, usually there's enough to get the goal for the day most days.
Just had a headline across my desk. The CFTC, commodity futures trading, permit federally regulated spot Bitcoin trading first time. Binomial's new exchange launches next week. So the CFTC will allow federal spot Bitcoin.
They're opening it up. The ETFs that they're opening up right now to Bitcoin, Solara, Ethereum, and XRP right now.
Yeah, those are doing quite well. And Vanguard, just a couple days ago, Vanguard gave the green light to let all of their brokers or wealth advisors recommend Bitcoin. And
other ETFs, not just Bitcoin.
and they said it should be a 4% allocation. You know how they've always said a balanced portfolio has like 10% in gold.
Mm-hmm.
So Bitcoin or other crypto, they say it should be 4%. Vanguard's telling their clients 4%. But
like
if you take if you take all the Vanguard clients, and if all of them allocated 4%, it would just be an astronomical billions of dollars.
$500 billion, something like that. It's some big number because they have like 11 trillion under management or something like that. Some big number.
It's huge. It's huge.
All right. I'm waiting for another trade here. We have about 2 minutes left. I don't see anything coming up. So I think I'm more excited about Jake closing than he is.
The last part?
I think I'm more excited than he is because I'm telling him, okay, well, come on over. I'll use my truck and fill both our trucks up and start taking your stuff out. He said, Dad, I have to wait.
Oh, he got his house?
Yeah, he closed.
So he's
always got to move from his apartment now, but he's still, when he moved into his apartment, he had all his tools still in my garage, and he's had a whole bunch of stuff for the house, new stuff, because he's going to redo all the floors before he even lets anybody move in. He's going to redo all the floors in the house on his own. So he's had everything that he needs for that delivered to my house. So
did he buy it as a rental property, or is he going to live in it himself?
No, he's going to live in it, but he's got in his apartment right now, he's got 2 roommates in his apartment. And so they're going to be moving into the house with him. So, so the way it works out, he's not going to, they cover pretty much all the costs. So.
Daughter, she has an apartment with some roommates, and we went to visit her, and my heart just broke. It was not pretty, and so I looked up this apartment complex on the internet to see what they were charging just to live there.
Mm-hmm.
Bedroom, it's like $2,000.
Wow, that's pretty expensive.
And how she and her unquote friends and they afford that. I don't know. But I mean, just people who really have their life together and they're working. I mean, cost of living is crazy. At least here in the Phoenix area. But my wife, she subscribes to this. It's called oldhouses.com.
Mm-hmm.
But like Iowa was like a hotbed of these old Queen Anne Victorian style homes, and many of them in shape. These quaint little towns, like 125,000. Sometimes fixer uppers are like 50,000.
Wow.
So I always have to remind myself that because I live in a major metropolitan area, everything here is more expensive than it would.
It is.
For somewhere.
Yes. Yes, you can go out west if you want to live that life out west, then that's okay. There's resources available now. Before it used to be you couldn't go someplace that wouldn't have internet at all. And
Well, the thing is, Bob, is current current rates. I mean, I know there's some programs to help first-time home buyers, but I understand from a mathematical perspective, talking rent being like then my mortgage payment. But you got to come up with that down payment, apply for the loan, and so many of the young people today, some of them don't even want to work.
yeah,
They say this Gen Z is actually catching the American dream. They're starting to see it as a possibility. I don't. Who comes after Gen Z?
yeah,
Do we start over? Do we? I mean,
yeah. Starting Gen A, Gen AA.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know about all that. But anyway, it is time. And I have another meeting come up with Joan here. So
Okay.
if you guys have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button. There is no credit card required for the trial. Click on that purple button, and it's going to bring you to this registration page. Just fill it out. Make sure you give us your login ID down at the bottom so we can enable your indicators for you and get them indicating on your charts. Okay. Today was not a great day. I mean, in the room, in this session, we were 2 trades, 2 wins, right? So we're 100% today. I carry this down. I'll try to carry this one down so it's green already. We're 100% today. 2 trades, 2 wins, up $1,210 with 10 contracts, or $120 with 1 contract. There's another trade coming up right here on the YM. There's probably a trade coming up on the ES and probably a trade coming up on the NQ also. All right. If you've not taken a free trial, go to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button. That's it. With that, I can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne has it.
Recap of the session.
Today it took 7 minutes and 2 trades to get to $1,050.
Job.
Thank you.
And guys, it's Thursday, so members only workshop tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. Just have your questions ready. Okay. Left off on. Covered all the other markets in granular detail. If you missed any part of today's broadcast, when I sign off, go to youtube.com/CFRN. Today's broadcast, and it's in. Currently on our YouTube channel, we have over 2,900 daily episodes for your educational and gold opened here last night, ran up zone and the BBC and the pullback hill, and that set us down to the target. And traded through short target. Down to here. I already talked about this. See, I would have expected support there. There. Sometimes the market doesn't do what you think it's going to do. Support came right in the middle of the spots I would have picked. Just got to trade what's in front of you. Support sends us up to resistance. Underside. Short target. So that sends us down. Trading zone at 40/4212. Support sends us back to resistance at the underside of the short target. Resistance sends us to support at blue and climbing, which gets us through. See, black holds. We almost make it to the zone. Another retracement. Get back on the south side of the VBC, and then back on the north side. Got resistance at the zone, resistance at the zone, resistance at the zone. Right there, we almost hit the long. Missed it by a little bit. Now we're getting a retracement back to the zone. See how the black step line crossed blue and climbing. Coming back to the zone, and we're back to the BC. Support there. There. Now, if the pullback doesn't hold, you got to look for support down here at the short target. Slow, slow, slow. Simple. Left. What you need to know. It's over. Right at the BBC, right in between the zones. Tried to move higher. We we had hit this zone. Now, support right here. Sure. It's this area. Then the next move down, support here, which is this low right here. Don't know that that's going to be support, but you left and you anticipate that it's going to be support. Just us all the way back up here, but not enough buying strength to get us back to the BC, and unfortunately that's a sign of weakness, and so like a pretty decent short opportunity. 713, 693. That would be a dime. That would be $500 per contract. Only takes 2 pennies to get your goal for silver. So, ahead, quite a rise. Now we're going through position. Hopefully this low holds. And we still got the daily doji going on with sort of a bullish bias, flashing green. But keep in mind the black step line is about to cross blue and climbing, and once that happens, back to the BBC. This is really support times 2. Got the daily BBC just above the 50 extension. I'm a member. Email Valerie, support@cfrn.net. Like to become a member, she'll send you the information you need. I'm a member. If you are a member, 2 hours of live training every trade day. Interactive environment. On top of that, you get private one-on-one mentoring. Just ask. How much to charge? The strategy you learn, the indicators you have as a passport holder, across all markets and all stocks, futures, crypto, ETF, doesn't matter. Price flows the same across all markets and all time. From support, resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over again and again. It's a never-ending cycle. Now, once you know how to read a chart, then it becomes relatively simple to spot where there should be potential resistance and potential support. So now, you're never going to be 100%. 21,000 alerts over the last 7+ years. We've averaged 20% or less being stopped out. So, better than that, God bless you. I'm very happy with that. I think last week we had 13%, the week 8%, the week that was 5%, and I think 18%. But Valerie will update the app this afternoon. So, as a passport holder, you're going to get the Logic 247 alerts around the clock. Use them to chart. Concierge trade alerts every evening, typically 5 minutes ahead of the Globex Open. Friday session will begin tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern. Thursday session began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. So I endeavor each day to get the concierge trade alerts out at 5:55 p.m. Eastern. Every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern, you'll get trading zones. Once they're published Monday morning, they're carved in stone for the entire week. They change in any whatsoever. And as a passport holder, you'll be able to attend the member workshop every Thursday night. Now, also get keys that open all the private channels in Telegram. And one of those channels is where we put video of the members only workshop every week. So, become a passport holder, you'll have access to a channel that has hundreds upon hundreds of only workshops. You need to watch them all. Is it a great resource to have at your fingertips? Yes. Now, what Valerie does is when she uploads those videos to the Telegram channel, she will usually put bullet points, major things we talked about on any given. So you might scroll through there and just go, oh, I've been wondering that. So watch that one. Certainly you're not going to watch them all. But you can if you want. Go all the way back to when we had a completely style. Or at least the indicators before we made the move to history. Everything a trader needs, all under one roof. And for a limited time, available subscription. Valerie, support at CFR. Wrap it up with our word for the day. Traveling light. 22:35. I sent you out without a wallet, bag, or sandals. You didn't like anything, did you? They answered, nothing. Jesus said in Luke 15, watch out. Guard yourself against all kinds of greed. After all, one's life isn't determined by one's possessions. Even when someone lives in a materialistic society that's obsessed with accumulating stuff. You have to worry about. So, what do you suppose Jesus wanted to teach his disciples when he sent them out to share the good news without a wallet, bag, or sandals? Author Cynthia Ruckty asks, was he showing them he was all they would ever need? Did he want them to learn dependence on him? Was he instructing them in the humility of accepting help for the night? Borrowed coat, temperatures dropped. Did he hope they would realize they could get along with, that their success depended on traveling light? That they would be safer from thieves along the journey if they had nothing worth stealing? Was it focus Jesus cared about most? Nothing in their hands to distract them. Would the disciples cling more diligently to his words, to the ministry of caring for physical and spiritual needs? The more I think about it, the more value I see in the baggage directive. What if I walked into my day conscious, no wallet, no extra sandals mentality, intensely focused on Jesus, on his words, and his mission? Mission he passed on to us. What if I measured success not by how much I accumulated, but on how little I need to survive, stay close to Jesus? What I lack? And that's our good word today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Wherever you are, God continue to richly bless you, mercy, and with his grace. And I'll see you well.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.